gathered all his ministers, and he told them, I mean, Juha's case is very complicated, and they really need a solution because the people are speaking. I mean, even the Sultan cannot do anything about Juha. So people there could not really give any solution for Juha, how to bring him down, how to bring him to justice. And there is this prime minister who is giving his poker face and looking at everyone in that room. Then the king told him, Muhammad, you are always talkative, you always give the best solutions. Why are you so silent right now? He told him, Your Majesty, I'm waiting for everyone to be quiet and tell you something. But if you want me to give you a very good solution, a very good trick to bring Juha down and to bring him into justice, I want you to promise me that if it worked, you are going to give me the hand of your daughter. I'm going to marry her. The king told him, Minister, are you keeping an eye on my daughter? I said, Yes, Your Majesty, she's beautiful, and they really want to marry her because I from afar I love her. Then the king told him, Well, I will not find someone who is better than you and more educated, but you'd better make it work. Then then the prime minister told the whole plan to the minister, and then the sultan sent two royal guards to Juha's place. So they went, they knocked the door. Juha is not there. Then his mother was behind the door. Who is there? They told him, Royal guards, ma'am. And why do your royal guards are in my place, are in front of my door? They told her, Well, we are for Juha. We want to escort him to the royal court. Juha is not here. What did he do this time? The royal guard told her, Well, we don't know. He will find out in front of the sultan. Then she told them, Well, once Juha is back, I will inform him. Then they left. Then, a couple of hours later on, Juha came back and his mother grabbed him by the ear. Come here, you idiot! What did you do this time to the sultan? Ow! Mom, I did not do anything! Why are you grabbing my ear like this? Then she told him, Well, why there are two royal guards in front of my door this morning? I told her, Well, I don't know. Then she told him, Well, go and find out. It's the Sultan. So Juha went to the to the royal court, Your Majesty. Then the Sultan told him, Juha, everyone in Marrakesh respects your brains, and everyone in Marrakesh has been tricked by you. We don't know, either you are very smart or a very good criminal, and we are here to find out. I'm going to give you three riddles. If you give me the answer of those three riddles, I will pardon you and give you enough money to live peacefully without any tricks anymore. If you don't, you are going to be known as a criminal and you are going to be put behind the bars. Then Juha accepted. Then the king told him, I want you to tell me how many stars are in the sky. And the second one, I want you to tell me how many hairs do I have in my beard? And the king had like a very big beard, the one that John has, so very big. So it's a lot of hair there. Then Juha told him, Well, this is easy. What is the third one? The third one is, I want you to tell me where is the exact center of the earth. Well, this is the easiest. But before I give you my answers, I want you to give me one night. I want to go to my mother. I'm sure of myself, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be right this time. So I just want to say farewell to my mother and prepare myself. So tomorrow, either I'm rich or I'm headless. So Juha went back to his place. The following morning, he came riding his donkey, the known donkey, and he was in front of the royal palace. Then he found the royal guards. Gentlemen, I'm here to see the king. Yes, we know that you are here to see the king, but you have to leave your donkey in the stables. He said, no, if my donkey does not go, I don't go. And then they started making this commotion outside of the royal court. No, you are not going with your donkey. No, I am going with my donkey. The Sultan heard this commotion. He went outside. Just bring Juhan his donkey inside. So Juhan his donkey was in the court, in the royal court. Then the king told him, "What is all of this, Juhan? Why is your donkey in front of me in my royal court?" I told him, well, everything is about the donkey. The donkey has all the solutions, all the answers in the world. I told him, well, tell me. Your Majesty, you told me that you want to know how many stars are in the sky. But before I give you my answer, I want you to call upon your personal barber. So the personal barber was there in front of the king. The king told him, Juha is calling for you. Your Majesty, I don't know Juha and I don't have any relationship with him because he was afraid that he will be linked to Juha in something. Then Juha told him, just calm down. I want you to shave the back of my donkey. What? Why? I only shave for the king and now you want me to shave your donkey? He told him, yes, you have to do that. I asked you to do so. Your Majesty, if you want the answer, ask your barber to shave my donkey's back. Then the king told him, just do it. He's going to lose his head anyway. Then the barber started shaving the back of that donkey. Then when he finished, Juha told him, I want you to count every single hair that you've shaved. And the exact number of the hairs you find in my donkey's back is the same number of stars in the sky. Your Majesty, I can't do that. I mean, the barber said, there are millions of hairs there. How can I count every one of them? I need years to finish. Then Juha told him, and how am I supposed to count every single star in the sky? It's the same logic. Then the Sultan nodded. Well, you got me in this one. Now, I want you to tell me, how many hairs are in my beard? Told him this is easy as well. Barber, shave the tail of my donkey. And the exact amount of hairs you will find in the tail is the exact amount of hairs you will find in the king's beard. The king really understood that Juha is smart, and now he's disrespecting him, comparing his beard to a donkey's tail. Then he told him, well, tell me about the last one. Where is it? In the head, in the back, or in the tail of the donkey? Where is the center of the earth? He told him, this is easy. Come on, my donkey, move here. Okay, a little bit to the right. Okay, go back a bit, move forward. Stay right here. He told him, Your Majesty, the place where my donkey is standing is the exact center of the earth. Ask all your scholars, all your scientists to count the earth north, south, east, and it's going to be the center of the earth. I mean, the scientists and the consultants that were there, Your Majesty, I mean, we cannot just start counting and going all over the earth to find out the center. Then you had told them, well, it's the same. How can I do that if your scientists, if your scholars cannot do that? The king took a deep breath and he told him, well, you really are smart. And then the Sultan decided to pardon Juha for all the things that he did to the people in Marrakesh, and he gave him enough money, and he told him, you have enough money to just live, eat, and enjoy time with your mother, or you can start a business, you can be a merchant, you can do whatever you want with that money, just don't go around and trick people anymore. Zuha accepted, and he went back home rich, and he lived happily ever after until the end of time. And this is the end of my story. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the first story. Okay, so just to understand, John, so I will just go
Just,
on.
just, 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 just carry on. I mean, it's. I was away. I was away with the Sultan there, so that's you took. I was standing outside of the palace, so we're trying to get in with my donkey. So I know those gates.
Okay, now I'm going to tell you a story about a king. This is one of my favorites, and it has a really good meaning. And actually, women would love this story. It always puts a smile on their faces because it's about a smart woman. So, once upon a time, in a summer evening, there lived a sultan who had trouble sleeping. So he called upon his servant, Fidel, I want a cup of Louisa tea. I'm gonna be there in the balcony. And in the balcony, the Sultan spotted the girl wandering in the garden next door. It was in the middle of the night, so he was just looking at her shape from far away. Then, Fidel, look at her. She's revealing her hijab. Oh God, she is stripping and throwing herself to the pool. I'm definitely going there. Then Fidel was like, Your Majesty, that's the wife of the Prime Minister. Well, yeah, the Prime Minister is well. Look at her swimming in that pool of water. Your Majesty is your best friend. Your Prime Minister, you grew up together. Yes, he's my best friend. He's the Prime Minister. She is a beautiful girl, and I am a sultan, and then I can do whatever I want. The next morning, the king found his way in front of the palace in which he saw that beautiful girl. He knocked the door. That lady opened the door. She saw the king, and he told her, Well, my lady, you know that I am here to take care of you. The prime minister, your husband, which happened to be my best friend, I promise him to take good care of you. So, whatever you want, all that you want in this earth, I can provide it for you. As the king was speaking to her, she could see lust and desire in his eyes, and she decided to do something about it. She told him, Your Majesty, would you please come inside? And she escorted him to the living room, and she told him, Your Majesty, I want to serve you some food. Can you please allow me to go to the kitchen? Please do. I am hungry. This is the morning. So she went, and she boiled eggs and painted them in different colors and put them in a plate and covered them with a piece of fabric. Then she went back to the Sultan and she put those eggs in front of him. Your Majesty, please serve yourself. So he removed that piece of fabric and he saw 7 boiled eggs that are painted in different colors, rainbow colors. So he told him, Wow, what are those? They look like eggs. Yes, Your Majesty, they are eggs. Can you try the blue one? And he took the blue one, he peeled it off, he tried it, ordinary egg. Then she told her, Well, this is very normal egg, but why is it blue? Then she told him, Maybe you should try the red one. He tried the red one, same thing. The yellow one, the green one. All colors, he tried them, and all of them tasted the same. He told her, Can you please tell me what is the meaning of this and stop playing around? Normal, ordinary, boiled eggs, but they are painted in different colors. What are you trying to do to me? She told him, Doesn't this remind you of something, Your Majesty? He said, No, can you please tell me? She told him, Well, they pretty much remind me of my kind of women. You might like our shapes, our colors, the way we walk, the way we talk, but from the inside, we are all the same. King really understood what she was trying to say. And he decided to leave because he was just scolded. He just learned a very meaningful lesson that he has to take care of his own eggs. And on his way out, in the same living room, he dropped his royal ring and he left. A fortnight later on, the prime minister came from his journey outside of the city. So he went back to his palace, and he sat in the living room. Oh my God, I really miss my house. It's cold and it is beautiful. Look at my very comfy cushions. Look at it, smells so good. I'm so tired. I'm going to take this day off. Then he spotted the ring. Oh, this is not my ring, and this is not my wife's ring. It belongs to a man because it's very big. Wait a minute. I recognize this ring, and I've seen it a lot in the hand of the king. The king was in my house. And the prime minister knows that the king is a womanizer. No woman is ever enough for him. And he was in his house. So the prime minister thought of the worst. He thought that the king had an affair with his wife. So he went to the kitchen and he told his wife, Jamila, what is this? What is the meaning of this? The king was here. What did you do with him? I trust you with my life, and they trust you with everything. And no, this is how you repay me? She told him, no, just calm down. I can explain. No, there is nothing to explain in this. Everything is crystal clear. I'm leaving. And he left. Then, a week later on, the prime minister never came back to his wife, never came back to his palace. And her parents came to pass by and to pay a visit. So her father saw his daughter. She is so gloomy, so sad. And he told her, my sweet child Jamila, can you tell me what is the matter with you? You are always talkative when I am around. You always tell me about you, what you're doing every day, and you always cook your beautiful tagines to me and your mother. But now I don't see this. I only say a sad face. What is the matter with you? And then she told him what happened with her husband, the prime minister, and what happened with the sultan. And he told her, well, don't worry, just go and prepare a beautiful, delicious tagine for me, and tomorrow I will solve all these problems. Don't worry. And it was done like that. The following morning, her father went to the royal court. So he was in front of the king. Your Majesty, I want to complain about something. The prime minister saw him. Muhammad, what are you doing here? Your Majesty, he is my father-in-law. I did not even know that he came to this city. When did you come? Told him I came yesterday, and I am here to complain about you. Me? I didn't even see you for a lot of time. Why do you want to complain about me? Then the king told him, well, let the old man speak. Speak, old man. Then he told him, Your Majesty, I want to complain about your prime minister because a long time ago I gave him a gift, a garden, very beautiful garden with a river inside of it, trees, flowers, beautiful things, a lot of beautiful stuff. But when I came yesterday and I wanted to check on the garden I gave him, I found that he is not taking care of my garden anymore, and I am afraid that it will die in no time. Prime Minister, why do you do this? You are so educated. You know that if someone gives you a gift, you should take good care of it. Then he told him, but your majesty, what both of you don't know is when I came back from my journey outside of the city, I went on my garden and find traces of the lion. The lion got inside of my garden, and I am afraid to go inside anymore. Here, the king understood what's behind the lines. They are talking about his wife and what the sultan did before. Then he told him, well, my friend, the lion indeed got inside of your garden, but he found that it is so beautiful, it is so protected that it made him remember about his own garden, and He has to take care of his own garden instead of roaming around other gardens. So he left. He did not touch anything. He drank no water, ruined no roses, climbed no trees. So what I want to tell you now, my friend, I want you to go to your garden, take care of it, take 2 days off, and I will see you in the third day. And then the prime minister went to his wife in his palace, and he spoiled her, and he gave her gifts, and of course, they lived happily ever after until the end of time. And this is the end of my story. This is the second story. Thank you so much for listening to it.
Beautiful, beautiful.
John, do you have a similar one in your in your culture in
Uh,
England?
uh, there's, I can't think of one offhand, but there are a lot of similarities to different stories I've heard from all over the world.
Mhm.
Um, but I kind of like, I love those sort of Moroccan Sultan ones because they're always, you know, it's always the Sultan and the minister um, and they get up to all kinds of things, and I kind of like the subtle way that one's done. I think it's great. No doubt, no doubt. If you ask someone like Seth Townsend, he'd come up with 1,000 from all over the world. But
Mhm.
I get so far into the story, I don't, you know, I'm not sitting there making comparisons. I'm just, it's, I tend to just sink into the story. Uh,
But
so if you can do another one, if you can finish on another, if you've got another poem you can finish on us after the next story, that would be fantastic. If you happen to have one in your head,
okay, I will think of some.
but let's have your story first.
Okay, so you want me to do one last story, right?
One last story, and then if you can think of another, that poem was wonderful. What language was it in?
It's in Arabic. In
It's in
Arabic, there is
Arabic. Arabic.
yeah.
Well,
uh,
in Morocco, it could be in two languages, couldn't it? Not one of two languages. So there's
it's mixture between classical Arabic and Darija. So
okay.
okay, so since I am wearing this scarf and people in the desert wear this scarf, I'm going to tell you about a story from the desert, from the Sahara of Morocco. So a long time ago, there lived a merchant who is so rich and so powerful, and he has four sons. And then he told them that one of you, one of you will not inherit me because he's my bastard. He's not my like my legitimate son. And he did not want to tell them whom. So all of them thought that they are the real sons. And then when he was about to die, he told them that when I die and you want to split my fortune, and if you don't come to an agreement, I want you to go to the Sultan who lives in the desert. And he will tell you who is the bastard and who is not the bastard. So they lived like that, taking care of their father's business. And one day they had an argument about the money, and they decided to split. But they don't know who is the bastard, who is the one that is not going to inherit their father's money. So they decided to go to that king, and they were traveling. So they kept traveling in the middle of the desert, and one day they grew tired and they sat down and they started sipping some water and eating some dates and just resting themselves. And all of a sudden, they saw a man very angry with eyes wide open and coming to them. My camel! Where is my camel? I want my camel! Did you see my camel? And then they told him, calm down, drink some water. You are looking for your camel, right? Yes. So your camel has one eye that is blind. Yes, exactly. You and the second son told him, your camel is missing a tooth. Yes, he is. Then the third one told him, your camel has a broken leg. Yes, that's my camel. The fourth one told him, well, is your camel loaded with honey and butter? Exactly. Did you see him? No, we didn't. We did not see your camel. How come you just described my camel with details and you know what is my camel loaded with? And you are telling me right now that you don't know and you have not seen my camel? He told him, no, we swear to God, we didn't. We did not see your camel. I'm going to take you to the king and he's going to take my right and he's going to be fair. So I'm going to go to the king in the desert and you are going with me. I told him, yes, of course, we are going there anyways. So after a week of traveling all together, they reached the king. Then the old man went in front of the king and he started making a complaint. Your Majesty, I lost my camel in the desert and I met those four young men, and I asked them about my camel. They described it with details. But when I asked them if they know and if they saw my camel, they said no. Then they told him, how come? How come you know the details of that camel and you don't know where he is? I told him, no, your majesty. It's because of the traces. So when we were traveling, we saw the traces. So whenever there is some grass, it is eaten, but there is always some branches of the grass that are left in the ground. So we know that he's missing a tooth. And the camel does not go straight forward. He always leans in one side. So we understood that he has a blind eye. And the camel toe traces, there is always one that is just being grabbed and in the sand. And whenever we go, we find mosquitoes there. So we know, I mean, mosquitoes in the desert, there must be something sweet for them or something grassy. So this is how we know the details about the camel. The Sultan really loved that those four men are smart and they know all of this. So they told him, why are you here? I am sure that you are not just traveling, but you have a purpose. They told him, yes, your majesty, we are here to meet you because our father, who is the merchant Muhammad, who lives in Marrakesh. Oh, yes. How is he? He is dead, your majesty. Wow. I love that man because once I traveled with him and he kept telling him about the stories with their father. Then he told him, I will lead you to rest. Of course, you are going to be hungry, tired, so you will be served food. And in 3 days, I will meet you, and whatever you want, I can help you with it. So those three brothers were there just eating and having fun and resting themselves. But here on the third day, the Sultan decided to do something, decided to spy on them to see what they really want and what they really are. So he hired one of his servants to go in one of the rooms in which the brothers eat and stay there in one of the closets or somewhere where they will not find her and just to keep listening to them. So those four brothers were served food like grilled piece of meat, very big sheep meat. Then, when they wanted to eat, they started talking to each other. So the first one touched bread and he said, well, the one who made this bread is a woman and she is on her period. And the other one tried wine and he said, I mean, the grape tree, it grow in a graveyard. And the third one said, well, the sheep, when it was small, it was breastfed by a dog. And the fourth one, he said, you know what? The king is a bastard. So then, when they finished and they went to rest, the servant went to the king and told him all that she heard. That bread, the one she made, is having her period. The wine is like the grapes grow in a graveyard, and the sheep was breastfed by a dog. And she told him, well, the third one, I'm really, really embarrassed to tell you. So Lord, yes, just tell me, what is it going to be? She told him, well, the fourth one said that you are a bastard. Me? So this is how they treat me. They are in my house and they are my guests and they are speaking about in my back. But I have to find out first. So he went to the kitchen and he asked for the one who made bread. And he asked if she's in her period, and she confirmed, yes, Your Majesty, I am on my period. And he went to his winery and he told him, from where did you get the grapes? Told him, well, I went to the graveyard and they found that there is a grape tree there, and they picked some grapes there. Then he went to his shepherd and he asked him, well, the sheep that you slaughtered today, was he breastfed by a dog? He said yes, because his mother, when she gave him birth, she died because of labor. So there was a dog and he was breastfed by her. Well, there is only me that is left. If all the three other facts are correct, I'm going to be a bastard. So the king went to his mother and he told her, Mother, I want you to tell me the truth, only the truth. Who is my father? Son, what are you talking about? You're the son of the king. Your father is the sultan before you. I told her, I told you I want to know the truth. Then he grabbed his sword and he told her, either you tell me the truth or I will kill you and kill myself. Then when she saw that he was really serious and his eyes are wide open and he really means what he says, she told me, just put the sword away and I will tell you what happened. He said, okay. She told him, well, son, your father married 40 women before myself, and none of them gave him a son. So when he married me, I mean, we've been trying for a year, but in vain. And one day, as I was in the souks, in the local market, I saw a merchant who is traveling with his business. I liked him and he liked me. And we did what we did. And I became pregnant. And when your father knew and learned that I was pregnant, he was super happy to hear that. And I did not want to take that happiness out of him, and I was afraid for myself and for you. This is why I kept my mouth shut. So when you were born, you were a boy, your father was so happy, and you are the king right now. So none of this matters. What matters is that you are a king, people love you, and you deserve to be in this place. And what happened in the past stays in the past. Then the king told her that, well, who else know about me and about you and my father? Told him no one beside us in this room. So the king got what he wanted, and then he went and he met those four brothers, and he told them, so I want to know what you are here for. Why did you come to me all the way to the desert? He told him, well, so as you know, our father has one bastard, but we don't know who's the bastard, and we are here for you to find out who is the one, because our father told us that you would know. Then he told him, yes, maybe I would know. But before I tell you who's the bastard, I want you to tell me about those four things that you said while you were eating. That about the bread, the wine, the meat, and about me. The first brother said, well, I tried the bread and I realized that it was made by someone who is in her period, because the bread was not thick. And if someone is on her period and making the dough, something is not right goes there. So there is more air, so the bread is not thick. This is how I understood that the one who made bread is on her period. And about the wine, the second brother said, well, I said things about the wine because once I took a sip, I was thinking about graveyards and about dying and the hereafter and the doomsday. I was not happy, I was just sad and reflective. And the third one said, well, I talked about meat because when I took the first bite, it did not seem like a normal sheep bread. Because normal sheep bread, there are layers, a layer of grass, a layer of meat, a layer of grass, a layer of meat. But in the one that we tried, there is only a layer of meat on top of the bones. So I understood this sheep was breastfed by a dog. And the fourth one said, well, I see that you are a bastard. Because only a bastard would leave his guest 3 days not attended. You left us alone, eating alone and resting alone. You did not speak to us, and we are your guests, and we traveled from far away. And he said, yes, you are right. And now I want to tell you, for the one who spoke about the bread, he's the. Oh, by the way, I want to ask you, who is the bastard? Who do you think is the bastard? I want to ask the audience and
Well, I think none of the four. I
none of.
think none of the four, because the king is the son of the merchant. So,
Hmm?
so only the king.
Any other suggestions before I reveal the truth?
Uh,
Okay,
Mike has fallen asleep.
yeah.
He's,
So,
he's dreaming of Storyland.
yeah, exactly. He's dreaming of the one who is the bastard. So he said, the king said to the one who talked about the bread, he said, you are the legitimate son. And for the one who spoke about the wine, he said, you are also legitimate. So only the one who spoke about meat and who said that the king is a bastard. Then he told them, well, something that I learned in my life is that bastards do know each other. So you are the bastard. And I don't think you have any share in your father's fortune. And those four brothers went back home with answers in their heads, and all of them lived happily ever after until the end of time. And this is the end of my story. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ah, been a great three stories. Great three stories.
Thank you. Which of them is your favorite? Which one do you like the most?
Love that last one.
Mhm.
I liked. Yeah, I think. Actually, I hate to compare stories. I mean, I really love the middle one,
Mhm.
because how do you? Because it's kind of, how do you speak to a king? How do you tell a king something like that? And I just think it was incredibly clever to use the metaphor of the garden.
Mhm.
So I kind of the the father-in-law, father-in-law is the hero of that story, as far as I'm
True.
concerned.
Yeah, I think everyone that heard this story, that hears this story, will say the same feedback that the discourse and the conversation between the three, the father, the king, and also the prime minister, is really clever.
Hmm.
It's really-
Ah,
all right. So for the poem, I don't think I have anyone in my head. I don't know. All of them.
it doesn't matter. It was just a thought. I just enjoyed the opening so much.
Yeah. So maybe next time I will do more. So more of 10 minutes or 15 minutes of
Yeah. Come on, as Mike, you had something to say.
Mhm.
No, I was just saying, yes, please.
Yeah, we want more from you. And well, there's the well, you can either pre-record or maybe now we know that how the live thing works and everything.
So you did not have any issue like hearing me through the live.
No,
So
it was perfect. It was perfect. It was really good. If we do it this way, and who was the woman you were going to bring in? The other storyteller you were going to bring in the other day?
so her name is Sarah, and
Salem.
she is also one of the storytellers in Clock Cafe.
Yeah. I recognize her. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you will remember.
Yeah. So would she? Do you think she would do a live one as well?
I would say yes, she would.
Yeah, because
The other day, I think it's her internet got interrupted.
yeah. There's some. I mean, it's whether it's possible, but it would be nice to have her on. But there'll be next story round. I might do a Monday night with sort of royal tales, so the sultan, so we can have sultans, kings, mandarins, or I think that make a great theme, and or kings and wise, or rulers and wise men and women, kings, queens, and wise men and women would make a, because there's usually that sort of. I think that make a great theme for a Monday night.
Yeah,
So,
true. I personally I love those stories about kings, and also when someone makes something out of his life. I mean, so from very dead poor to very successful merchant, and some of them make it to be a king.
yeah, it's yeah. So yeah, no, I think that'll be a theme. So when I do that, that'll be a few weeks time, I think. So we'll definitely put you on that one, because that would be great.
Of course. And they've been thinking maybe we can do a Moroccan nights, only Moroccan things. We can also play some music with poems. I've been thinking with. I also know a storyteller from another city. He's not from Marrakesh. I've been
Well,
speaking to him recently, and yeah, he's good with poems. He
well,
knows a.
that would work. I'm starting. Uh, we're starting a story round every other every other Sunday is going to be a story round, for from around the world. So I mean that's starting from the middle of October.
Mhm.
So anyone you can get from that, because we're calling it world story round. So I and musicians, poets, anyone you can put on that would be fantastic. So I'll let you know. Well, you'll see when it comes up. But and then but we could, and then every other week, maybe we'll do two or three tellers every other week, instead of a complete story round. But maybe we could do a whole Moroccan theme on one week.
Okay, perfect.
And we just got to make sure everyone's got their internet. But to have some musicians and drummers and there's and some of the stuff that's happening in the mountains would be fantastic. But if we that depends on internet, obviously.
Yeah.
But there's a whole, there's wonderful drummers and things, not just in Marrakesh but up in the mountains. So
Yeah.
any contacts that so your task is
Try to pre-record something in one of the mountains nearby Marrakesh.
yeah.
Maybe something.
Uh,
Yeah, I would record something.
and we can always, even on the live nights, we can always drop in pre-recorded stuff, so we can mix and match it. So that will be great. So Zuha, you've now become my Moroccan branch. No, good, great, as much as you can, and that variation of music, story, and poem, song, be just brilliant. Okay, well, thank you very much. Oh, this is really important because people might be listening on other devices and on Facebook and just not coming in the room. Well, I hope there's more people listening than are in the room, because well, one, we apologise for our slightly later start. Just imagine there's a bus that's late. The bus was a bit late tonight. We're terribly sorry. But the really important thing from a dance point of view is there's a little hat, and you can drop something in there. Any denomination at all, because you can get it changed. No, it'll be so there's and he would appreciate it. So and I thank you for those 3 great stories, and I look forward to what else you can bring us from Morocco.
Perfect. All the good. Thank you.
Another round of applause, I think. Thank you. Only